Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now for you all, it's probably been at least a day or two since the last recap video came out, but for me it has been 5 minutes. So welcome back to Satisfactory. We are officially in the day 8 territory. The last recap covered day 6 and 7, or part 6 and 7 as I call them on YouTube, calling them days in the save file for some reason. I don't exactly know why I ended up doing that. But in day 8, we did a whole bunch of stuff with oil, and I'm gonna go through it really lickety-split because I've got stuff to do today. So we took this pure oil node here and turned it into 160 per minute of plastic and 80 per minute of heavy oil residue. Similarly, we took another pure node right over there and turned it into 160 rubber per minute and 160 heavy oil residue. All that heavy oil residue goes along the pipe. All the plastic and rubber goes along these belts and into a terrain station. The heavy oil residue comes into these refineries and becomes petroleum coke. It's 240 heavy oil residue, which means it is 720 petroleum coke. That petroleum coke combines with water in some coal generators over here. There they all are. In order to make us some extra power. Apparently, I never actually hooked this one in. And since this is the real save, I'm allowed to just literally take these and do that. Since this isn't an old save, I can actually change the timeline now. I went back in time for the previous video. So this makes us a little over 2,100 megawatts of power in order to net us, roughly 5,400, give or take. You can see it's also fluctuating a little bit, and that fluctuation is caused by some geysers. So there's a geyser here, there's two geysers here, there's a geyser here that I haven't used yet, and there's two geysers here that I also haven't used yet, but am planning on using. And all of those geysers do absolutely and completely and entirely lovely things, aka they give me power completely and entirely for free. Then the plastic and rubber get loaded onto the train in the front and back halves. Of course, there's a train waiting, so I would like to get rid of this. Plastic rubber unload, save changes, turn on self-driving. We're gonna head back home. Luckily, I do have these final block signals here, otherwise that train would have been waiting for quite some time. Oh no. This whole thing counts as a block because there's no signals on the interchange. That's wonderful. Here we go, so now that guy is going and doing his thing, and we're going back to the main base. So essentially, that took up a lot of time on stream, was setting up all of the oil and the coal generators to burn all of the heavy oil residue. That way I didn't have any byproduct backing things up, which is absolutely not what we want to have happen, entirely and completely horrendous. You'll notice nothing with the track has changed because I didn't change anything with the track. I didn't do much with trains apart from set up that one, train for the oil and everything. So it's doing its job, and then we went back to the main base and we automated a whole bunch of things because if you're astute, you'll know that geysers and the geothermal generators that go on top of geysers require high-speed connectors. And high-speed connectors require deuterium, plastic, and a manufacturer, as well as, deuterium cable. And circuit boards, I think, is the thing that I'm missing. You can see the geothermal generator just barely through the trees up there on that hill by the coal power. If you didn't see it, that's okay, because there's two more right there. You can see those two loud and clear. And those are giving me between 100 and like 800 total, which is nice. Megawatts. It's variable power, so that's why the grid has variations in it every now and again. But that is a-okay, and we don't really care about that at all. Again, you can see that we can't reserve a path through the path signal until we're in the block preceding it entirely. So, like I said in the last recap, might be removing that set of signals, but not that one, because that set of signals is actually rather important to get things out of here. And then you can see us going through and then around. Turn off self-driving, slam the e-brake, and get rid of the train. And we're at the base, where we have done a lot of things. So first and foremost, we have the unloading of the plastic and the rubber. That comes across this little gap right here. You can get rid of that. Then some of that plastic and rubber goes off to the storage room. The rest of it goes onto the bus. You can see this new node of concrete being used that I set up, and I don't know if I mentioned recapping that at all. But that is a thing that we did, and that is a thing that is necessary. Then, first things first, we've got ourselves some copper splitting off to become copper pipes. Copper pipes combine with plastic to make circuit boards. Some of those circuit boards go straight off to the storage system, hence this big thing. The rest of them combine with cable and some quick wire right here to become high-speed connectors, which we're not going to get one for a second, but there are high-speed connectors. There's one. So that is absolutely lovely. It's also tanking my copper. As you can see, this copper node is very upset. So the rest of this copper is supposed to be coming through and making more sheets and more cable for circuit boards and other associated parts to make computers, but the circuit boards are a little bit lackluster because of that copper. So what we're going to end up doing when we go a little bit farther here is disabling some of this, because this is what's taking a majority of the copper. This takes 100 copper per minute in order to make all of this wire for the automated wiring, and we're only going to end up needing half of this automated wiring. So half of this is just going to end up ceasing to exist, and that's not going to be a big deal at all for me. Then, after the computers, we also managed to get heavy modular frames. Heavy modular frames are very, very, very stupid and expensive, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. They're pretty complex. But basically, iron comes into here and creates plates and screws. Those plates and screws go into reinforced iron plates, and then those reinforced iron plates go off, and we'll talk about them in a minute. Additionally, concrete splits off and does its thing. Concrete also splits off with the last of a belt of steel here in order to make a bunch of steel pipes. Those steel pipes come together with the concrete on one side to make the encased industrial pipe alternate recipe, and then they combine the steel pipes with the reinforced iron plates on the other side in order to make steeled modular frames. Then those steeled modular frames, steel pipes, encased industrial pipes, and concrete all combine together over here in order to make heavy modular frames, which are Sommerslooped to get double the production, because these things are expensive and I need a lot of them. So we want to double the output because we can. You'll also notice 220 megawatts. These things usually only cost 55. Sommersloops increase the cost of a machine by the amount of Sommersloops in them. At least I am 90% sure of that. I could totally and entirely be wrong, but I don't think that I am. Is that 60 and this is 15? So never mind, it just quadrupled it. Does not increase it by the amount of Sommersloops. So that is a-okay. And then, of course, all of that combines over here together. You can see some computers on the belt right now. High-speed connectors, circuit boards, and heavy modular frames all come together and then go down into the storage system, which has been expanded ever so slightly to include the plastic, rubber. Can't tell what that's supposed to be. Heavy modular frames. So heavy modular frames. I wish they would put the common abbreviations in there, but I can understand why they wouldn't. And then compute. And then, of course, the circuit boards and the high-speed connectors over here as well. And those go up into the dimensional depot so that we can have computers, heavy modular frames, and high-speed connectors as we wait for them all to fill up. Now, in terms of what is going to happen next time, because that is literally everything that I did on the last stream. So what's going to happen in between streams, in the very minuscule amount of time that I have to play in between streams, I am going to extend the train network around the side of the coast like I was talking about. It's going to end up going up this way and then around and meeting back up with this train line somewhere over here. And that is because there are quartz nodes in a cave. I went ahead and ping them. That's because there are quartz nodes in a cave right here. See how accurate I was. I was close. I was very close. So right there. Additionally, in that cave is a normal node of SAM. So we're going to end up having a normal node of SAM right there. That was spot on. That was crazy. An impure node up here. And then, of course, you know, there's that impure and that impure node. But we don't care about those because the train network isn't over there yet. There's one here, and then there's a pure node over here. And then there's the oil. So the oil and the SAM are going to go on this train in the back here. And okay, and that oil is going to be used for weapons. So I want to have the SAM and the weapons first thing next time. So I'm going to do all the train infrastructure and stuff off stream because that took so many hours on stream and I feel like it's kind of boring to watch. I love doing it because it's a lot of fun, but I feel like it's boring to watch. And then we're gonna do weapons production, probably in this little corner here, give or take, and also end up maybe with some quartz production as well, just some like quartz crystals, maybe some silica, you know, that kind of stuff is gonna be nice. And then also off stream, I'm going to do packaged liquid biofuel, because the solid biofuel kind of sucks in my jetpack, and I would like to have better fuel so that I don't die as much. That would certainly be nice. Then, in terms of the actual space elevator parts, I guarantee that the weapons and the quartz and the other stuff is probably going to take up an entire stream in and of itself, as well as going through the process of doing more efficient oil, because with the oil, there is a very efficient recipe, but it requires a loop kind of like this. So here's how efficient oil is going to go. Water is going to come in and get packaged. That packaged water is going to combine with heavy oil residue to make packaged fuel. That packaged fuel is going to get unpackaged, and then the empty canisters are going to wrap around to the input of the start again. Then, actually, I should probably do it like this. So, for instance, plastic. Plastic makes plastic and heavy oil residue. Heavy oil residue and packaged water, so packaged water happens. Heavy oil residue and packaged water come in here and make packaged fuel. Then that packaged fuel gets unpackaged, and then we make recycled rubber with the plastic and the fuel, because that's just how that works. We get half of the amount of heavy oil residue as we get plastic, but we double the amount of fuel from that heavy oil residue, so it ends up working out to this 1-to-1 nice and perfectly. On the other hand, when we do recycled rubber, we're going to make rubber, which makes the same amount of heavy oil residue. So we have twice the amount of fuel that we need in order to make the recycled plastic, because it's still a 1-to-1, but now we have 2 of this, we have twice this, and that is going to end up going to these fuel generators, and that is going to net me 4,000 megawatts of power in total from the rubber. I could go more heavily into things and do turbo fuel instead of just regular fuel, but there's no coal or sulfur nodes anywhere nearby the oil complex, and I don't feel like setting up the logistics and infrastructure for the trains when I'm probably going to end up using all of the stuff for it different ways, like the sulfur and the coal around that area in different ways, and I don't want to have unnecessary trains causing congestion and all the things. It's just not worth it to me. So next time is going to start with weapons, maybe quartz production. Then we're going to go through that whole packager loop stuff for the official oil, because right now we only have 160 plastic and rubber. And I'll tell you right now, we're using a lot more than that at full bore. Then we get to go into the ACUs and modular engines. So first and foremost, the modular engines is motor, rubber, and smart plating. We're not using rubber for anything yet. We will for weapons, but we're not right now. So the rubber's taken care of. Smart plating, we're already making 10 per minute of. We're only going to need 5 per minute, which gets us 2.5 of this per minute, and that's not bad for modular engines, because these are expensive. Then we need motors. 5 per minute of motors is a bit of a pain in the ass, but we're going to be just fine in terms of doing 5 per minute motors, pulling things off of the bus. We already did it once, we can do it again, and not have any problems with that whatsoever. So 5 per minute motors, sorted. That's modular engines, completely done and dealt with. We're gonna Sommer sloop it to get a full 5 per minute. Right? Yeah, we're gonna Sommer sloop it to get a full 5 per minute. Maybe not, actually. I don't think I'll have enough. No, I'll have enough Sommer sloops. I'll just have to... yoink. I'll just have to do that, which is gonna take the power cost way up into the ceiling. But that's fine, because we have a lot of power, or at least we're gonna have a lot of power. I doubt we'll get through all this in one stream. This is just the plan at the moment. Then the adaptive control unit, which is an expensive fucking guy. I hate this so much. It's so expensive. We are going to Sommer sloop this as well, for sure, because it's a 5-to-1 automated wiring to ACU, a 5-to-1 circuit board to ACU, which is fine because we don't need a lot of circuit boards anyway, and they're not that expensive, and then 1-to-1 heavy modular frame, 2-to-1 computer. So what we're going to do for this is we're just going to siphon. We're just going to siphon heavy modular frames, circuit boards, and computers straight off of the stuff that goes into the storage system and into the mall. So we're literally going to take this here, we're going to split it off, and that's why this is Sommer slooped, because we're going to split it off. We're making a little over 5.5 per minute, and we're going to end up using 1 per minute. So that's totally fine, but if we were making only 2.5 per minute, almost 3 per minute, that would have been a problem. For the computers, we're making 5 per minute, assuming this thing is actually cooperating, which you can see right now it's not. So siphoning off 2 per minute, not a big deal, still nets us 3 per minute, which is totally fine. Then, all the way over here, we're making automated wiring, and one of these is making 5 per minute. Actually, both of them are making 5 per minute with the Sommer sloops. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these machines away, because we no longer need 10 per minute, we just need 5 per minute. That is going to divide this copper cost, which is 50 per minute, or 100 per minute, into 50 per minute. We're going to divide it in half. Additionally, we're going to end up dividing the Caterium cost in half, and the steel and stator cost in half as well, which is going to be super duper nice. We're going to take those 5 per minute, we're going to wrap it the whole way through, probably just straight through this channel right here, and we're going to end up with our very lovely automated control units, our ACUs. And that is going to be the completion of Phase 3. The only reason why I don't want to do that in our current state without having some upgrades is the power situation. I mean, our max consumption is 5.5 thousand megawatts, and we are every now and then peaking above that, but very rarely peaking above that. So we need a better power solution very soon. So yeah, that is the current and upcoming plans, as well as a recap of what we did on stream. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Later, y'all.